News 4 Jax starts right now with a breaking news alert.
Life in prison. A judge hands down the decision against Josh Phillips, who murdered his 8-year-old neighbor nearly 20 years ago in one of Jacksonville's most notorious killings. 90 minutes ago, the man who was sentenced to life in prison when he was 15 learned he will probably never win his freedom. Maddie Clifton's mother wept after the new sentence was handed down. Now 33, Phillips was 14 years old when he hit his neighbor, Maddie Clifton, repeatedly with a baseball bat, cut her throat, and hid her body in his bed. In 2012, the Supreme Court ruled his life sentence unconstitutional, and that led to today's hearing. Allison Henning spoke with the Clifton family. We'll check in with her in just a minute. But first, we start with Chris Parento, who was in the courtroom when the judge made his decision. He's live outside the courthouse right now. Chris.
Bruce, Judge Waddell Wallace spoke at length inside the courtroom, and you could tell by what he said that he gave great consideration to many factors in this case. He spoke for about 30 minutes inside of the courtroom, saying that he feels this is one of the extreme cases that warrants a life sentence for a convicted child. In court, both families, that of Josh Phillips and Maddie Clifton's family, cried after the decision was read. The judge gave his perspective on the case, the changes that Josh Phillips has made in prison, but said he felt the community would suffer if Phillips was let free. The judge said there is no explanation for the detachment, the coldness, or the callousness of this crime. He said that it was not impulsive or a mistake, but that Maddie Clifton was lured intentionally by Josh Phillips. The Clifton family was thankful for the diligence of Judge Wallace. Josh Phillips' attorney, Tom Fallis, will likely appeal this decision. I asked him after court if he wanted to make any comment, but he declined. Along with the ruling of life in prison for Josh Phillips comes a review after 25 years, according to the Supreme Court decision that brought this resentencing hearing about to begin with. That review could come in 6 years from now, so the Phillips family and the Clifton family could all be back in court in less than a decade doing this all over again. But for now, Josh Phillips will spend life in prison, according to Judge Waddell Wallace. Live outside the Duval County Courthouse, I'm Chris Parento, Channel 4, the local station.
This morning, Maddie Clifton's family, they had to relive this nightmare through the resentencing process. They talked with Allison Henning after court, and Allison, this must be an emotional day for them.
Yes, certainly very emotional. They were filled with emotion coming out of the courtroom, and for the first time in a long time, we saw smiles as they left the courtroom. Maddie's mother and sister tell us this has all been a very emotional roller coaster over the years, but today is a good day.
Coming into today, I was very, very worried and afraid, and but it turned out the way that I wanted it to.
I feel so good about this. I really do. He can't hurt anybody else ever again. Never. No one should ever have to go through this twice. We did it, and we got our justice.
The family also wanted to thank the community for the overwhelming love and support over the years. Now, again, Josh Phillips resentenced to life in prison with review after 25 years, which would come 6 years from now. Maddie's family says they are ready to fight again if they have to. They said they've done it twice and they will do it again. For now, reporting live from outside the Duval County Courthouse, Allison Henning, Channel 4, the local station.
Follow this developing story on news4jax.com. It's the top story on the homepage. There we have background on the case. Covering Alachua County now, new information about a man wanted for rape. This is in Gainesville. Police released a sketch of the man they're looking for. First told you about this in the 9 o'clock hour of the morning show. Police say this man attacked a woman in the gym of the Tivoli Apartments on Southwest 13th Street. If you have any information on who he is, you are asked to call police. New at noon, new data from the state shows Florida's unemployment rate is down to 3.6%. That's the lowest it's been in more than a decade. More than 127,000 jobs were created in Florida in October. More than 15,000 of them were here in the Jacksonville area. Governor's office says close to 1.5 million jobs have been added since December 2010. UNF taking precautions after learning a white nationalist rally is expected to happen on campus Monday. UNF's president says the rally is in support of the student, Ken Parker, who was suspended after posting a photo with a gun on social media threatening action toward a campus group. Campus police, JSO, and undercover police will all be at UNF Monday to maintain safety.
I hope it doesn't go through. I hope there's not a rally, and I hope everybody's kind of peaceful with everything, and I hope they can kind of get the situation under control.
Group plans to meet outside of Alumni Hall, where Parker has a hearing Monday. According to the university, students will be safe on campus. Mercy and compassion. Corrine Brown and some of her supporters making a plea for leniency in her corruption case. She went before Judge Timothy Corrigan. The former congresswoman was convicted on 18 counts of corruption, mail-in wire fraud charges. The 71-year-old spent nearly 2 decades in office. Judge Corrigan says he vows to impose a, quote, sufficient sentence. 16 character witnesses spoke on Brown's behalf. Brown apologized but maintains her innocence. Her attorney says he believes they laid a foundation for probation.
Well, I can tell you that when she gave her statement, she said that she recognized there were certain things that she did, certain ways that she ran her office that led to this situation. And she certainly knows that she has to make amends for that. You know, frankly, she trusted the wrong person. Ronnie Simmons did some things behind her back and committed some crimes, and you know, as a result, we're here today. So does she think she has a debt to society? Yes, but frankly, she's always believed that she's had a debt to society because she knows she's been given a lot of advantages.
Judge Corrigan will hand down a punishment for her co-conspirators Ronnie Simmons, Carla Wiley, and Corrine Brown December 4th. We'll follow this case and let you know what happens on the air and online at newsforjax.com. Covering Putnam County, a hound dog is mending after a rescue group found it tied to a tree. It was malnourished, his neck sliced open. Florida Urgent Rescue calls it the worst case of animal abuse it's ever seen. We're going to blur these photos because they're too graphic. That's Bud. Florida Urgent Rescue says his neck was sliced open, likely because he was tied to that tree for so long. Doctors are treating Bud at UF Health. His chances for recovery are good. The group says it hopes whomever did this pays for the crime.
This was absolutely the worst case I've ever seen. It was shocking, the injuries were horrific, and it was completely unnecessary. There's absolutely no excuse for animal abuse. Neglect is also another form of abuse. Tying an animal to a tree and leaving him there, in this case with inadequate food and water, it's just inexcusable.
Now, the group says Bud's not the only dog rescued within the last year found in horrible condition. These photos tell this story. All cases of animal neglect uncovered in this past year. In August, News4Jax reported Jacksonville hit 1,400 cases of animal abuse, on pace to be higher than last year. If you notice any animal mistreatment, you're encouraged to report it to police. The reward for the suspected serial killer in Tampa is now up to $100,000. Tampa's police chief released this surveillance video of the killer following a 4th murder in the Seminole Heights neighborhood. Benjamin Mitchell, Monica Hoffa, and Anthony Naiboa were all shot to death in October. Ronald Felton was shot and killed Tuesday morning. Police believe the same man killed all 4. We are hearing from a mom who shielded her children during that California mass shooting. What she says broke her heart during the ordeal. And next, the shortage of the hepatitis A vaccine. What the Centers for Disease Control is doing to help at-risk populations.
Important local news from your neighborhood. News4Jax is the local station. Like WJXT4, the local station, on Facebook.
A health alert. Several communities dealing with hepatitis A. The Centers for Disease Control says there's a national shortage of the vaccine. Number of outbreaks contributing to that shortage. Most are in Michigan and California. CDC says it's working with public health offices to target at-risk populations. Hepatitis A is a highly contagious liver disease. Planned Parenthood says it will offer free services to those affected by Hurricanes Irma and Maria. Included in the services are a 3-month supply of birth control. That's along with treatment for UTIs and infections and emergency contraception. You can make an appointment by visiting Planned Parenthood's website. Right now, crews are working to clean up hundreds of thousands of gallons of oil that leaked from the Keystone Pipeline. At least 210,000 gallons of oil leaked so far. The massive pipeline has been shut down. Technicians found the leak on a section of pipe that runs through rural South Dakota. There have been no reports of oil entering the waterways. Environmental officials say the cleanup will take some time. Since we first told you this story on the morning show, we've learned at least 20 people were injured in a nursing home fire. It happened last night in Westchester, outside of Philadelphia. Now, a lot of people who live in the home have been displaced. Several had to be taken to hospitals to escape the cold. No word what caused it.
To get the most accurate, reliable forecast, our 5 powerful radar sweeps give you 5 times more coverage. Channel 4 is the weather authority.
God, I ran out to the car not too long ago. It is so beautiful out.
You went outside?
I went outside.
And you came back?
Sometimes I don't have common sense.
I say that because if you go outside, you're going to do the same thing. If I don't have to care about those dishes in the sink, I'm just going to hang out here, maybe just lounge around outside and enjoy some of those blue skies. And you see there, mild temperature, 73 degrees. Shine brightly here on this finally Friday and through most of our Saturday. Bruce, back to you.
An event that's positively Jack's. News for Jack's collecting shoe boxes filled with personal care items for the homeless. This holiday season, we need your help. All you have to do is fill a shoe box with hygiene items like soap, toothpaste, or deodorant. Actually, have one right here. And then you wrap it in a blanket because you know it's cold season. Drop it off here at Channel 4, the City Rescue Mission on McDuff. Let's see what's in this one. Oh, they've got some socks in there, too. Good idea. Label whether your gift's for a man, a woman, a boy, or a child, or a girl. And go to the Positively Jack's page on newsforjacks.com for a complete list of suggested items. Grab your walking shoes this weekend. You have the chance to raise awareness about heart health. The American Heart Association's First Coast Heart Walk is Sunday. It's at Metro Park. Activities start at 8. The walking kicks off at 9:30. News for Jax is a proud sponsor. Mel's going to be there to help you out. For more information, go to heart.org. There's a link to make it easy for you on newsforjax.com. Covering Clay County, free dental extractions tomorrow from 7 to 1. The first 100 patients will be accepted on a first-come, first-served basis and get one extraction. It's part of Free Dentistry Day at Middleburg Family Dental Care on Blanding Boulevard. Well, it's a drive-through theft that goes viral. Still ahead, how police were able to nab a real-life hamburglar. And up next, hear from survivors of a mass shooting, how one mother saved herself and her children as the gunman went on a rampage. Home from the hospital and on the road to recovery, an update to a disturbing story. 28-year-old Lisa Rucker is back with her family after she was shot in the head 2 weeks ago at a West Side condo, one she shared with her sister. Her sister, 30-year-old Ashley Rucker, was shot and killed. Lisa says it was her sister's ex-boyfriend, Chad Apsher, who pulled the trigger after an argument. Sister's sons, just 4 and 9, were in the room at the time.
The worst part is not having my sister, because I know she would be right here to help me through all this.
Was arrested days later after a manhunt. Rucker says her sister was in an abusive relationship. Now she's talking to save others' lives. Channel 4 sits down with her to talk about what happened and the warning signs. Hear more tonight on News for Jax at 5:15.
Channel 4's community calendar is sponsored by Zaxby's. Take steps to help the American Diabetes Association find a cure. Step Out, Walk to Stop Diabetes takes place on November 18th in Riverside. Runners of all ages are invited to join Mackenzie's Run, November 18th at Everbank Field. 5K runners will finish inside the stadium. On Sunday, November 19th, come to Metropolitan Park to join the First Coast Heart Walk. Activities begin at 8 a.m.
Florida Democratic Party Chairman Stephen Patel resigns after women complained about his sexually inappropriate comments, demeanor. Patel apologized and said he didn't want his personal situation to be a distraction ahead of next year's elections. Right now, a mother's recovering at a hospital after she was shot 5 times while shielding her children. It happened during the Tahoma County, California shooting rampage in which 5 people were killed. CNN's Dana Griffin has her story.
But tonight, he's just thankful to have his family.
We're one of the fortunate ones. We can go home.
Police say the shooter, Kevin Neal, made his own guns that were used. Neal was killed by police after he killed 5 others and injured 10 people. A real-life hamburglar is now behind bars. How police caught the bandit who climbed through a McDonald's drive-thru. Next. So this woman now faces charges because she did her best hamburglar impression. I gotta watch her squeeze through. Yeah. First thing she does, try to pour herself a drink. After she gets all the way inside, nabs a purse, some food, cash, and even some Happy Meal toys. All in all, she got away with about $1,400 worth of stuff. She even tried to wipe away her fingerprints. Like, big deal. Lady, there's a camera there. There are cameras everywhere. Don't you watch the news? So figuring it out, finally, she decided to turn herself in.
Yeah, from 1:01 a.m. to 1:04 a.m., she collected quite a box load of stuff.
She probably practiced it and was on a specific clock.
The McDonald's caper. All right, on over to the forecast here. We've got 74 degrees for a daytime high. That open window weather alert, listen, if it's easy for you, grab that extra blanket because it'll get chilly overnight tonight, but you can leave the doors and windows open, as tomorrow we've got daytime highs, upper 70s and lower 80s before the showers move in early Sunday.
Awesome. Enjoy your weekend. Be safe.
See why every day more people are choosing News 4 Jax, Northeast Florida and South Georgia's #1 source for local news.